Again, North has a good win for us last Saturday. I thought we were pretty solid. Didn't play perfect by any means, but we played pretty hard in all phases. A lot of guys playing. So I like their energy. Effort was pretty good. A couple lulls that we just didn't take advantage of some opportunities, but pretty solid performance in all phases. Like I said, a lot of guys contributing. I think our kick game's getting better, not just because of kickers by any means, but just coverage or blocking, and we got to continue. We had an opportunity for a return or two to be a little bit better. Kind of got a couple different looks, and we had a critical error on the one kick fumble, which is not acceptable. But I do like some things in the kicking game, and I say that because I thought kicking was a big part of playing well a couple weeks ago at Missouri. I thought we really did a nice job against Maryland. That came in very touted in their kicking game. I thought our road game earlier at Bowling Green, our kicking game had no impact, and didn't hurt us, but didn't really help us. So to have some success, you got to play good in all phases on the road. And I like that we're improving there, but we need to continue to keep making plays and not give up things. Our defense was decent, held them to 360, something to build on. In this day and age, you're playing, again, different opponent this week, but a team that will run the ball and take shots. Last week, you got to defend the field and every guy, and we busted some coverages and things to clean up on, but held them to 140-something rushing and 360 so total, something to build on. We haven't had a lot of numbers like that. Let's keep working on that. Offensively, we had 590 plus, which was good. Got to keep finding ways to be more consistent. So not a bad day, but a good, solid day as a team. Our defensive players had a lot of guys we thought played well in all phases, but our players of the game defensively, a couple young guys, Chase Dutra and Tigray Scales. They're both playing well. The more they play, the better they get. Chase is a young guy that, not because he made an interception, he sometimes is maybe not exactly where you want him to be, but as a young player, he's playing hard and harder than a lot of guys have played and have played for us. And that being said, because of his energy and effort, he's making some plays for us. We sometimes want him to be a little bit cleaner, but be careful. If you coach him too much, he'll slow down. So he's playing fast, he's playing hard, he's got to keep being in better position. Same with Tigray Scales. Those are two redshirt freshmen and true freshmen. They're good young players. They played outstanding games. And we had a number of defensive guys play pretty solid, but those guys were the best. On the offense, had several guys, again, play well. Blocking was really good. But with our two skill guys at tailback, Tevin and D'Angelo, both ran hard, played well. Their tight ends and perimeter guys did a good job. And we thought Nate Sudfelder recognized Nate for a solid outing at managing us and getting us in the end zone with some touchdown passes and whatnot. So those three guys. In the kicking, Eric Toth was awesome. We didn't communicate one time in our coverage to maybe down one punt that would have been a hard down. But if he gets that, he would have been 4 for 4 punts inside the 20. He's been very, very good with that this year. He had a couple down there. One was huge. And we recognized T.J. Simmons, who's starting at linebacker, made several critical plays for us in the kicking game, as did David Cooper in one of their all-out blocks that are coming out. Does a great job protection and makes the tackle. So a couple of your starters playing well in the kicking game was great to see. Scouts for the offense, Corey Kill, wide receiver, freshman, and Sean Damaska. Been here a couple years, big, tall, developmental tight ends, doing a great job for us on the offensive side. And defensively, another young guy, Damian Willis, linebacker's been doing well. Guy's been close to playing, hadn't played, and maybe does, maybe doesn't. He's close enough. Where in years past he probably would be playing with some depth right now, but he's a good young player we like a lot. And the guy we're proud of is doing well is Jordan Heiderman, who is actually traveling, getting on the field maybe a smidge, but he's also a guy that we use on the scout team because he needs reps. And as a senior, he goes over and does an awesome job. So I want to recognize those guys. Some things to work on. Again, score zone opportunities. We're leaving points off the board. That'll get you in conference games. It'll get you on the road. We had a turnover on the plus side of 50 with no points. Chase made a great play. I think we come out in the second half, and I think we scored. And then we get the pick and got a chance to go again, and we don't let them off the hook. We down a punt. It was 4th and 1. We ran a route short that we didn't like, and we decided to punt. We pinned it down. Great play by Nick Stoner and Eric to the 1-yard line. And we had a chance on 3rd down to get a stop. We got to tighten our coverage up, give them an easy sprint pass. We did hold them after that. They only got 1 first down, but when the offense got the ball back, we got no points. Those are those are point opportunities, where your defense or kicking is creating a chance to score, and we got nothing to show for it. It was just another play. And you get in conference, you got to correct that. Also, we had a fourth down scoring opportunity in the score zone. We didn't score. Thought at the time it was 42 to 10, and our defense, I really wasn't trying to by any means run the score up, but I felt their best chance of scoring would be a block punt, because we had really played pretty good defense for a couple quarters, and I thought just, hey, we're running it good, let's run it, and we didn't block it well, and we didn't score there, and we could call some better plays, but we're just kind of playing not conservative, but what we thought mathematically were the right odds, and it was disappointing. That didn't work for us. Defense had a little bit of lull. We had the kick turnover right there. After we didn't get that touchdown there, they went down and scored, and we fumbled a ball, and they scored again. So we've got to clean that up. Iowa coming in, very good as always, 4-1. One of the top teams in our conference, have been for years with Coach Ferentz. West Division, some people think one of the premier teams that can win that division, and they're sitting undefeated in there with only one conference game, but sitting at 4-1, they've played a good schedule. Solid and strong as they always are. Legit on defense. They lost 3 great linebackers. They plugged 3 guys in, and with their structure and their defensive front and their coaching, hadn't missed a beat. Played really, really good defense. They've given up 3 touchdowns in 12 red zones opportunities. So 25% of the time when you get in the scoring zone, you get a touchdown. And that's not a good formula on the road. Not scoring when you get an opportunity or kicking field goals is not something that wins on the road a lot in a lifetime of football. So that'll be a challenge for our offense. Offensively, as always, got a great offensive line, starting with their head coach and their line coach and their background, but they're always good with it. Maybe the premier player in a conference is their left tackle. So tremendous offensive line, awesome with the run game, and they stay with it. Their numbers aren't that good because they do it and people load up. But with that, they're passing. You would come in saying we're the passing team and they're the running team, yet their passing statistics are way better than ours, and our running statistics are way better than theirs. So it's kind of like our passing sets up the run, their running sets up their pass. They do a great job with their play action game and their balance and what they do. They don't beat themselves. Solid in the kicking game. If you play well, it'll be a dogfight, and if not, you'll get your butt beat by a really good program. So great challenge. I know our guys are looking forward to it, and great chance to go on the road. And we'll be playing at noon, I believe, on ESPNU. Questions? Again, yeah, good point, because you'd like to get them all. And of course, one was just a play action pass, but we had a couple of opportunities. Went to Anthony Casaro. It was good to get him back. We've had a couple balls go at Michael Cooper, and again, Fuchs is a very athletic guy. And as a young player, if he and Simi Cobbs will practice more consistently, they'll get on the field more. Because all you do is watch practice, and you build trust as either the quarterback, the coaches, everybody, guys. So as those young guys keep coming along, but you get those guys on linebackers, but their defense knows it too, and meaning they know there's certain routes or concepts that you think have an advantage, but they also work to defend those. So it was good execution. It was nice to go to them, but it was really nice to execute it and have a nice, third, I think is a 4th down conversion to Anthony on a 4th and 6. It was just a play where he was the guy that had the leverage, and it wasn't really trying to go to him, but based on coverage and structure, that was the matchup, and you needed to go there.
Look at them. Iowa's played 2 quarterbacks. Did you prepare for both? Is the style so similar it doesn't matter? How do you approach it?
I don't think they're plays, because it's not like one becomes the athletic zone read, or one's just a running quarterback, one's a throwing. They're going to run similar stuff, and I don't know if it's due to just how they played, or if the one guy they started got maybe nicked up a little. I don't know, but they're very fortunate, because I remember going back listening to preseason where they thought they had depth in the position. So I think it's just the nature of where they are offensively, but I don't think it changes dramatically. They're going to do what they do, and they execute it really well. And I'm sure, that Coach Davis and Kirk will get the guy they think is going to give them the best chance to win. It's kind of nice they got 2 guys they can do it with.
History doesn't mean much from season to season, but the fact that you guys beat them last time you played them in 2012, how can that help the mindset of the guys going into the week, and just because they have some confidence with some success against them recently?
Yeah, I think our team's getting more confident just because we're slowly having a little bit more success. We're more mature. There's more talent with the younger guys. The veteran guys have grown. They've been, they've been battle tested. And been on the road and played in games. So, that team 2 years ago had some injuries, I think, at Iowa with running back and whatnot, and we were a different team. We threw it a lot that day, didn't run it very, very well, and so it's kind of, we're kind of different, and both those at different points. They're a better team for sure, just with their experience and growth and the way they coach them, and I think we're different, and in some ways we're a little bit better, but it'll be a different matchup. I think though, I think our team realizes from how we've played that if we play hard, we can match up and compete, and if we don't, we're very, very vulnerable and very susceptible to not having a positive outing, and that's all we've talked about, the preparation and the choice to go out and play the way we need to play to be successful, because if we can practice it, but you got to choose to now go out here and let's fly around and play, and if you do that, you got a chance. So I think it's more of just the confidence of where we are this year versus a couple of years ago.
You talked about consistency as well. Your approach, if you continue with that, it might seem like an odd question, but continue with that as this team is ridden kind of a roller coaster to try to get them off of that.
And one more we're riding with.
You talked about your consistent approach week to week to week. How do you make sure that they, I guess, go along with that program to get off the roller coaster they've kind of been on?
Yeah, again, we'll stay, because again, we like our players, and they're a great practice squad and do a lot of things around here, around the building and around the community the right way. So we're going to kind of keep staying with our structure and all they do. What they got to realize is what they need to invest outside of just coming to practice. For example, we got a great business school over there at Kelly. If you just go to class and sit in there, you're not going to get a degree. You better do some work and some extra stuff. So we've got, quote, our 20-hour rule, how many hours I can spend time coaching you. But you better do some things in your rest, in your nutrition, and in your self-preparation to get yourself ready to go. And that's your responsibility. Like we tell them all the time, it's not our job to come in and give you some rah-rah win-win for the Gipper speech and you're going to go win. That's done through the week, and you're building that point. And with some young players, you learn to do it. And with some old players, I think we've got to keep learning how to keep focused. I think it's so easy with all the technology we have just to get easily distracted, because you're always you can Google and check anything out and get infatuated with yourself and where you are. You better come back to getting grounded and getting prepared and then getting yourself. So we'll stay with the practice routine, but a lot of it's those kids got to realize what they got to do to be ready to make that choice to play, because bottom line, it's a choice. And it's so easy in this day and age, you can walk out with your hands down. If you do, you're going to get smashed. You better come out with your hands up ready to fight. Talk about it. They're the guys fighting.
Coach, can you give us an injury update?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything. Again, we had Spriggs could have went last week and didn't practice, and we kind of gave Ralston Evans a spell, and Greg said, you want Jason to go? And I said, well, he's been standing around cold. Let's just, Peyton Eckert played, so he should be full go. And he was, we had light work yesterday, and outside of that, no issues as far as any cheap bruises or bumps. We're kind of where we've been.
What ended up happening with Jason?
He hit his head on the he just snapped his head. I think in concussions, I think in this day and age, there's probably more whiplash hitting your head on the turf than actual contact. And he said after the game he was fine, but again, this day and age, you got to be, he felt a little woozy, and our guys looked at him, and we got some things in place like all schools do that, again, when those guys say a guy's down, he's down. He looked good yesterday. What we did yesterday was so minimal, it doesn't really count as a true practice, but it'll be interesting by how much he can do tomorrow. We'll see, and then for sure about Wednesday. And I would, he appears to come out of it where I don't know if it's going to linger. I don't know. Everybody can say it needs to be 7, 8, 9. Sometimes too, you say your head's hurt, and the doctor says you're out. Well, you just said that. So, what's the degree of that hurting? So I don't think there's a timeline. A guy's out 3 days, 5 days, 2 weeks, 4 weeks. I think our guys are always going to err on protecting the athlete. But I think in talking with him afterwards, it didn't appear to be that big, but we'll see. Because again, we do all these pre-tests and with guys to get a baseline of where they're at. And then with your recall, you post-test and you show that you're up to speed. So he'll communicate. Does he have headaches? Whatever. I think every school has about got the same policies going now. And we'll see. Again, I'm not saying we're rushing a guy with a concussion, but it didn't appear to be a heavy big one. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's my take from Saturday, what I heard yesterday and what I'm hearing today. So we'll see. Not that he's going, but we'll see. I'll be surprised if he doesn't, but we'll see. We'll do what's best for him. Promise that.
What have you liked most about how the defense has evolved? I mean, certain
Yeah, and, again, I think we keep talking about playing hard and competition. A lot of guys playing, understanding roles. The more guys we play, guys are playing. I think, Dutra, we thought was outstanding. Only had about 25, 30 plays. But when he's out there, he can go hard, full speed. And it's not like we got a guy, if you mess up, you're out. It's just you can go play hard. You don't have to save it because we're playing instead of playing Tim Bennett the whole game at corner, we're playing some guys. So when he's out there, he can be more because we got to get more aggressive in the perimeter. I thought Murphy's play on a pass interference, which was for sure a PI call he played, but was an aggressive play. So to me, I just like that we're being a little bit more aggressive, and I'd like to see it be a lot more than it is. And that doesn't mean blitz. That just means that we're 10 off up front. We're active in the perimeter. We're not missing a bunch of tackles. We got to tighten up coverage. We got to get after the quarterback a little bit more. But, man, those guys are young, and we got a new system in place. And to me, they're doing kind of good, and they're not close yet. And that's kind of fun. And do they see that, hey, I see myself getting better, and I'm playing and making some plays, and that feels good. But do I realize it's not even close? Like, I'm really pushing the coaches to realize they can be so much better. And it's never going to be perfect. It's a tremendous challenge to coach defense in this day and age. Tremendous. It ain't easy. The way we're doing it with running plays and linemen downfield and throwing the ball like everybody's doing, it's hard. And you're making them defend every guy in the field, and then they're running quarterbacks. So it's almost like you need 12 or 13 guys sometimes. So you're going to get worked. And the deal is those that keep playing hard, and those young guys are playing hard, and I think the old guys are doing a good job now of embracing roles and what they're bringing. And my challenge to them is that I like what I see, and I don't think it's close to what it can be. And that's what we want to keep pushing for, because a lot of young players, and we're very new into this process of where those guys are right now.
There are down conversions that have really improved a lot. I mean, last year seemed like it was sometimes just hard to get off the field, and certainly the defense is doing more of that this year.
No doubt. One of our comments a week ago, though, we talked about with our guys, because I felt prior, a couple weeks ago we had a solid week of practice, but didn't show. But one of the things we talked about was not just practicing or practicing hard, but you need to practice making plays. So, for example, when I beat a scout team offensive lineman, or even the ones or twos in a pass rush, maybe I can't tackle the quarterback, but I continue to pursue to be in position to do so. Because I felt some of the things you're talking about in years past, sometimes it was tough to get up, but sometimes we were there and still didn't make the play. And man, you're in great position. That's a pretty good call. We are unblocked, make the sack. You're all over the guy in coverage, get your hand on the ball. And so one of the things that we're just emphasizing is continuing to play hard. And as you practice, not just practice hard, but practice making the plays you got to make in the game. Because if you don't do it on the driving range, it ain't ever going to the first tee. So, and we can go hit a bunch of balls, but we got to start hitting them good. Hey, we've been hitting a bunch of balls in practice, but we got to start hitting them down the middle. And we talked a lot after the Maryland game of not practicing harder, but practicing with the purpose of making plays. Coming into the building with the purpose of having a good meeting instead of just coming here doing your job. No, let's be productive, because we got a chance to have some success as we keep moving forward.
You never want to see bust defensively, but in the fourth quarter, you had a couple of mistakes. Is that a silver lining to a certain extent, because you can kind of teach the importance of playing 60 minutes?
A little bit, but and that's a good question. Because we got yes, for sure, to keep playing. Matter of fact, you're a turnover away from being into an 11-point game with 6 minutes left, for what that's worth. So now all of a sudden, onside kick, and you can be in a 2-possession game and think, hey, so again, I showed them highlights of the Arizona comeback against Cal, where they scored 36 points in the fourth quarter. Saying, look, I don't care what the score is, you better keep playing. Even if you're down, keep playing. And even if you're up, keep playing. It's not about running up scores, but or it's not about like, hey, the game's over, just keep playing. So, so one, that's a point. But to me, the thing is that we busted some things that we hadn't technically seen, but conceptually you're always going to get in certain situations. So I don't care what the formation is. In third and longs, people are going to have some version of rush control. So is it draws, screens, whatever. They're going to have goal line, certain play action passes. So you can say, hey, I didn't see this, but as a young defensive player moving forward, on the 2-point play, every team in the country has the sprint out pick pass to the right, for what it's worth. Now, they don't do it all the time, but that's one that we did it in 1982. It's called 574 at North Carolina. All right? I mean, everybody runs that play. The pros, it's a Q8 option. Everybody runs that play. We'll see it this week. We got it this week. So, but as a defensive guy, how are you not ready for it? Well, there's so much processing going on, do you forget? And that, to me, was what was disappointing. Not that we didn't play 60 or we busted a coverage, but with young players, and it's young, you're young, but start learning, because bank that play, because you're going to see that again. Not because you busted, but in the history of football, you're going to see that play and learn from that. I had a chance to quickly speak with him at the Big Ten meetings. I thought it was him, wasn't sure. You know, you said, this big guy, like, who are you? And as soon as he said, I said, you're the guy that kills guys. And he said, I try to play as hard as I can. I said, you do. So he's very strong. He's very athletic. I think he's kind of grown into that position. He didn't come out as a natural big guy. He's used their development of their weight program and their strength coaches and their position coaches, but he plays with a lot of passion. So he's a fun guy to watch. And I remember a year ago, not playing them, but when we would watch defenses and you watched him, just him making some awesome plays, like that's a special guy. So I have a lot of respect for him. He's a tremendous lineman, one of the best in the country.
Coach, you mentioned 2 weeks ago with the rest of us, we saw that with the onside kick. But how do you kind of explain to your players, like, to not step off the gas, that you need to keep on, I guess, making those big plays, especially late in the game?
That's, and again, but you don't try to make a bit like, hey, we've had conversation with players. What were you doing? Well, I was trying to make a play. Well, if you're trying, it ain't gonna happen. So we just talk about, if you play hard, do what you're supposed to be, where you're supposed to be. But the one thing we talked about last week was, especially defensively, as you are being where you're supposed to be, I'm canceling a gap. Feel free to kick some butt as you cancel the gap. So just being in the gap is not the job. Be in your gap and create some havoc and make a play. So bottom line, we keep talking and we can talk and talk and talk, but as players, you got to keep playing. You got to keep playing every play. Games are never over till they're over. You're never out of it if you're out of it. Just keep playing. But bottom line, it's easier said than done. If it was, everybody'd win every game and everybody play perfect every game. So you got human beings, you got kids. We got some good kids. And our deal is more as we keep emphasizing, showing them the good. There's a lot of positives to build on, and we want to keep building on it. And it's going to be a tough challenge with these cats now because they're going to play hard, and they are very, very good. So we're going to need our best go. Like we've had a couple times, we're going to need a really good go this week.
When you play a team, you know what they're going to do. Does that make preparation easier or harder as opposed to something where they're all over the map and changing things? Or how does it make preparation maybe different?
I mean, to me, I think really, unless a team's really, really, really junky all over the place, most people, they change from week to week, but you get a feel, people, you know what they're going to do. And then bottom line, it's execute. So as the coach is like, hey, they new plays, yeah, that's kind of what we do. We ran a lot of those same plays the next week. So does somebody hear, because you're up there talking, hear your words and share words, whatever, then you change your words, you change your pig Latin, for whatever your stuff is. But, end of the day, I mean, it's execution. And I think the worst thing is coaches sometimes, Coach Stoops said a long time ago, he said, you got that big piece of paper and you got to call all those plays. And he goes, you don't have to. And so, feel free to do what they give you and take what's there. And don't feel free to, like, you got to justify your existence and guard your desk every day and work 90 hours to do a bunch of plays, find out what works and get your kids to execute it. And that's the key to, in this no huddle world, you're hearing a lot of guys on defense talking about how simpler they've made it, which allows their defense to play harder. And when they know what to do, the faster they play, the harder they play, the more play. Now, you can say it's so simple, you know where they're at. But yeah, their kids know what they're doing. They're playing so hard, they're making plays. And as we've gotten more talented, sometimes the coaching's got the way, and you can coach your guys to play hard instead of coach them on a bunch of cute little gimmick stuff all the time. You can kind of play a little bit more normal football.
You mentioned play calling. How are you guys handling that this year?
I call the good ones, and Coach Johns calls the bad plays. It's a fact. If it's not a good play, I had nothing to do with it. For example, Missouri, the last drive, it was amazing. My headphones went dead. Yeah, so I just had to take them off and yell at the guy what to call. It's amazing. It happened twice that game. Little known fact.
Is there just a running discussion with you guys, or how
You've been there, right, Buck? All of a sudden, went dead. What happened here? I don't know. We need to score a touchdown. I don't know. I mean, sometimes it just, I'm one of the 5 coaches on offense, so I help out over there. because we put 5 on day. I thought at Oklahoma, Coach Stoops was very involved in defense because that was his background. He was the head guy, but he sat in every defensive meeting, and he was a DB. And you can ask Coach Shelby, he coached corners. He was the corners coach, okay? And that was it. He was the head guy, but on the field, I got you. Because I'm, and that's my deal is I'm not the best, but I coach a little, so I can let me help coach a little. And I'm best when I'm working with the offense, and I'm best. I go over there and I say, here's what I think they're doing offensively. Y'all figure out how you need to stop it. But make sure we just attack and stay aggressive. Same deal in the kicking. I mean, Coach Enns was huge with that kickoff onside, not me. He's like, it's there. I want it. I said, okay, go for it. That was his call. I just said, yay. That was his choice. He said, Coach, it's there. I said, go for it. And it's a part of staff deals. So you got, like, I have final say on a lot of stuff. They're down there right now. They're probably taking their break for lunch, but they're going to go through every formation, every down and distance situation. We're going to get our 10. We put a lot of plays up, and then what I try to do is get the eraser out and start taking the clutter off the game plan. So what do we need to have enough tools in the toolbox to go after it? And then we get out there and you just kind of get a feel for it. I think, I've called plays since 90. And so I got a feel for like certain things, but sometimes it's not a good view. And Kevin's got a good view. So it's just kind of a team deal. The real play calling's done when the drive's over. What do you want next time? I'm thinking, hey, give me this. What do you see? Greg Frost said, I want this one and that one. Should we do this or that? What do we need? And we kind of put it together. We don't script the game. Like I don't have a 15-play script. We don't do it. I mean, we don't even sometimes tell them what the first play is going to be till we're getting out there because what's the wind? What's the situation? If I'm telling you exactly what it's going to be, all of a sudden we practice that on Thursday, we practice on Friday, all of a sudden it's a 20-mile-an-hour wind and you're on the 3-yard line coming out. Wait a minute. So we just kind of, but we do a good job on the sideline. This is what we're going to do next. And we try to get in the flow of things. So that's kind of how we call plays. We got a little, you got 40, 50, 60, 70 selections, but we're going with these 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 deals. That's kind of how we do it. Anything else?